This is going to be the biggest change on the U.S. Supreme Court in at least half a century, because we go from a court that had 4 solid conservatives and 4 liberals with Justice Kennedy in the middle, and now we're going to have a solid 5 conservative members. But Ali, you said that lawyers sometimes pitch their arguments to Justice Kennedy. Tom Goldstein has argued 41 cases before the Supreme Court. Is that true?
That's pretty true, particularly on an ideological question, the kinds of questions that your viewers really care about, whether it's abortion, affirmative action, gun rights, gay rights, all of those sorts of things. He was the decider. You could not win a case without Justice Kennedy.
Put it another way, of all the justices who could have retired today, is this the most significant? Or I suppose it would also be a big deal if Justice Ginsburg retired, but is this a big deal?
This is the biggest deal of a voluntary, plausible retirement, because if any of the other conservatives were to retire, you'd get somebody kind of just like them.
Right.
But there are questions on which Justice Kennedy has been holding back the movement of law in the United States to the right. Things like gun rights, things like affirmative action, things like voting rights. He's a conservative for sure, but you can get somebody that's a lot more conservative.
So now we face this prospect of a Supreme Court without Anthony Kennedy, who has been the deciding vote really for the last 12 years, ever since Sandra Day O'Connor stepped down. She was often described as the swing vote, but Justice Kennedy stepped into that position, and as you heard Tom say, he was, for all intents and purposes, the decider. Some legal scholars even said, though, this Chief Justice is John Roberts. It's really the Kennedy court and not the Roberts court, because it's Justice Kennedy who was also often that 5th vote. If you think about it, 4 liberals, 4 conservatives, often tied, like today, for example, on the future of public sector unions.
Right.
The court was divided 4-4. Justice Gorsuch got on the court with Justice Kennedy. You had a conservative majority. So it's going to be a conservative court for years and years to come. It's going to be a huge, huge change in the lineup of the court. And of course, the other thing to remember is we've got at least 2 more years of President Trump, a little over 2 more years, as he continues to nominate at a really record pace judges on the federal courts of appeal and the U.S. District Court. So the Trump presidency, not just the Supreme Court, but the lower courts as well, is going to vastly reshape America's courts. It's the power of the presidency, and it helps when you have the Senate in your party.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.